What is audio? Is it a song? Is it maybe just the doorbell? Is it your voice? Is your voice something that you can make money with? Maybe. Welcome to audio. I'm Brian W. Carmack. This is Step Your Gain Up. All right, welcome. Get in here. No need to take your shoes off. Everything's fine. So, look, my name is Brian W. Carmack. I am a professional voiceover artist here in my studio, and I want to welcome you to the show. This is Step Your Gain Up. It is a show that is by the voices, of the voices, for the voices. And I am Brian Carmack, the choice in voice, here in the studio, offering you insight and intellect into the things that you need to know about the voiceover world as you get your career started in the field. As always, I want to go ahead and start with gratitude. I'm, of course, grateful to my producer, Amy, who has assisted me with getting this podcast going up off the ground and pushing into this field. Thank you so much for that. Shout out to all the people that I've connected with through this process, and even those people that I've watched on YouTube with their videos. Like many of you, started with a small vision for yourself to maybe be a voiceover artist, and you want that to grow. I too was that person. I started out with the when I was in the Air Force overseas doing radio broadcasting. I had the opportunity to work at a radio station, and it was a show built around sports. And I had the privilege to go to Wembley Stadium, go to the press box, interview players, professional players, and have that great experience. Was able to go to school full on the post 9/11 GI Bill and focus my studies on that when I left the military in 2015. I am thrilled now to be finally in the studio and doing that thing that I love to do around audio, right? Which is voiceover. And that's what I want to talk about today is really what is audio, right? We're going to focus on that. We're going to focus on like how voiceover is as far as work life balance. What are the things that, what are the benefits of it? What are the requirements of some of the things in this world that you need to meet in order to be successful? And then we'll also talk about the niche, right? What works for you? Jack of all trades, master of none is what some people will say. And truth be it. So, what niche is something that works for you? There's plenty of them, and we're going to go over those. Also, make sure you stay tuned to the end. I want to share something special with you. It's really what I consider the biggest secret when it comes to managing your voiceover career. So, what is voiceover? What is audio? Really, it's a connection. Stop thinking about it just being a sound waves, but think of maybe audio as a time machine. Think of audio as something that can lift you and take you to another time. I'm a 90s child. If you put on alternative rock, Stone Temple Pilots, Soundgarden, I'm going to go back to my, teenage room, which is, a lot of posters of bands and, chains. And I had all the piercings. Yeah, it was wonderful. My grandmother loved that about me. But, if that's what audio is, that, for a lot of people, it takes them back. So understand that that's what you're doing here. You're almost creating an emotion. You're taking somebody on a journey with your voice, and you're allowing them to essentially be there. There's audiobooks that allow you to convey that even more so. There's all sorts of different things, but a song can do it. Just anything when it comes to Audible. There's commercials that you also will take you back. You might go on YouTube. My kids have been watching the YouTube, and there was over Christmas time there was a Muppets special that's on there, and it's somebody recorded, and I guess it must be past the copyright laws, but in that was commercials that was also recorded. Somebody took a VHS and they recorded it. And for those of my younger friends, VHS is a box and you put it in there. But they recorded it on there, and it had all the commercials as well. And so I had the joy of watching a lot of these products that are still around today, but what their push was, what their advertising was back then. This is before Got Milk was Got Milk, which is one of the biggest advertising campaigns there was. That's what I remember. I remember those commercials. I remember those little jingles. There's the Wendy's "Where's the Beef" line, which is a classic one that's out there. They are audio takes you back. Audio grabs a hold of you and it takes you on a journey. And that's what it was for me. It always has been. I always wanted to react those things. And so I find myself pushing to mimic those. And I hear myself, and of course, there is that the used car salesman commercial voice, which is it's very trite, but you know what? It gets work. It still gets work. But hey, there's all sorts of different things that audio can do. They can sell cars, or they can take you back to the 80s or the 90s, or to a time when you didn't have a car. But that's that. Let's talk about lifestyle, right? Your work life, home life balance. What I mean by that is when you're a voiceover artist, you make your schedule. Understand though, is that you likely won't start out working even with people in the US. Actually, a lot of voiceover work comes from overseas. A lot of the Asia market likes to work with, the voiceover artists here in America. And so you'll find that the market that you might, be working with has a different time that they are working. And so it will cause you to have to fluctuate, meet perhaps at hours that are not so ideal. But what's the trade off? Well, if you don't want to necessarily meet, then don't. Or if you don't want to necessarily uh, be beholden to that job or that task, then don't. Me, I have two girls that are growing up, and I have a responsibility to be there. And so I'm going to. That's what voiceover allows me to do. Allows me to be there. I say those who care show up, and this allows me to show up. But that discipline has to be there as well. There's things that have to be done with your own voiceover business, and let's make sure you understand that this is a business. And so there are going to be certain things that come along with that you have to make sure that you are disciplined about doing. And so that lifestyle, yes, absolutely, it's freedom. You get to be your own boss. But here's the deal: you're the boss. So do boss things, okay? And last but not least, the niche. Like, what is that thing that you're going to do? Everybody gets involved usually with ACX. They'll tell you that's the first place to go. ACX. What is that? ACX.com. Check it out. It's Audible. It's books. Okay. If you're like me, you love Audible books. I mean, I've read a lot of books from Audible. Can I say read? That's the question. Is it okay to say I read when I listen to it? Somebody give me the answer on that. Anyways, but audiobooks is definitely one of the avenues when it comes to voiceover. Of course, YouTube channels. That's a big one as well right now. YouTube channels are big because everybody's got an idea. Everybody's got something that they want to share. Everybody's also been locked up from a pandemic for a few years, so they got a lot to talk about. Ultimately, you're going to find that YouTube, commercials, voiceovers, explainer videos, all these things are things that require a voice. So understand that you don't want to do them all. You want to really just narrow it into one, right? Do one thing good, that really good, and then take that success into another one, right? Because that's the best time to build, right? As soon as you have one victory, the best time to start on the next project is right away. Carry that momentum into the next one. Bottom line is research all the niches out there because you can find one. And if you can, use it and for lack of a better term, exploit it. So that's the big deal. What is audio? Audio is a time machine. It can be whatever you need it to be. It could be the animation. It can be a commercial. It could be spokesperson. Whatever it needs to be. Understand that you're in charge of making somebody feel something with your tone, with your voice, with your sound, whatever it is, right? It's going to have to project a feeling, right? So know that. If you can do that and you can actually transfer that energy, audio is definitely for you. That's definitely a great thing for you. Because you know why? You'll also have that lifestyle that you've been looking for, that freedom, right? Audio is for you. Then you have the ability to be your own business, to manage your own clock, to manage your own lifestyle. Remember, it's up to you though. You are the boss. So maybe you left that 9 to 5 and you're happy to be done with that. And the boss was a pain in the backside. Well, guess what? You're the boss now. And so it's up to you to run things and make sure that you focus on making sure that your customers are always happy. That's another episode we'll talk about, and I hope you'll watch that one as well. Make sure you find that niche. Don't be involved in everything. People who are involved in too many things, often I say you're not focused enough. I would like to deal with somebody who is focused on one thing. For example, I'm not a producer. Amy's a producer. That's who I'm gonna let produce. I don't produce, Amy produces. Let the people who do what they do what they do. You focus on being the voice. All right. So, last thing, the big secret, the big bonus that I have for you. This is going to be the one thing that you want to focus on more than anything. It ties in with that idea about discipline, right? It's going to take discipline to do what I'm naming to you right now, and that is calendaring. Make sure that you sit down and you create a plan to be successful. Friends, no plan is a plan to fail, and you have to have a plan. So, step one, sit down and plan out tomorrow. Even if that's 1 hour of just researching what is voiceover, great. You planned it. And then make it happen. It's important that you manage your time. Discipline around managing your time is what's going to determine how successful you are. Whether you just have a great studio and a microphone, or whether or not you're actually making money, creating content, getting followers, and building your reputation in the voiceover community. I'm Brian W. Carmack. I am the choice in voice, running Step Your Gain Up, the choice of the voices, by the voices, for the voices. I hope you gained something from this show. And I look forward to seeing you at the next one. Make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, and make sure that you click that little bell there, because that little bell will let you know whenever I put out a new podcast or a new episode or even an update. Again, I am Brian W. Carmack, and thanks for stepping your gain up.